So welcome to the Visionary Artist Social Art Community. This is our first play date, and play dates are fun and they're just experimental. And so today, all I'm going to be working on is mark making. And mark making is something that we take, sometimes I think we take it for granted. We do it, but we take it for granted. And I look at mark making as the enhancement to our paintings or our compositions, our mixed media. And so I'm going to be working with tools that most of the tools you probably have somewhere in your household or in your art studio, right around you. And I'm only going to be working with a few mediums. We're going to be working with uh, ink, and we're going to be working with water and gel and Caran d'Ache crayons and yeah, and graphites, so Stabilo, so just a few things. So what I'm going to invite you to do is mute your mic at this time. And the reason for that is so that background noise doesn't get picked up into the recording. And there will be times when I'll stop and or if you have a question, at any time if you have a question, just unmute your mic and ask it, okay? But I'm going to segue over now to my workstation here. And I apologize that it's vertical. For some reason, today my phone isn't letting me go horizontal with the recording. So we've got a tighter space, but I'm going to make it full screen. And I won't be able to see you if you do like a hold hand or something like that. That's why I'm just saying if you have a question, just unmute your mic, ask it, and I'll reply to it. Otherwise, we have three little sections, so we're going to work in sections and in between sections while I'm switching some of the tools and supplies around. That's a real good time also. And if there's anything you want to share ever, that means you will go into the recording, because I would pin your screen. So if you don't want to be in the recording, um, you can always take a photo of what you're working on, and you can post it into our community so that everybody, can see what it's all about. Okay, so I'm going to remove me, so bye for now, and then we're just going to just strictly work right here. Okay? So, I'm working on this 12 by 18 watercolor paper, mixed media, sheets of paper, whatever you have is fine. And um, I'm going to work on this paper because I think it will hold it up pretty, work with the ink and hold the ink. So what I'm going to work with, here's the tools that I'm going to work with. I'm going to show you this. First of all, I've got my water spray bottle here, and I also have in a very dirty container, clean water. And what I do with my water these days is I do add an essential oil, so that every time I spray my water, I'm also bringing a different type of vibration in also. So I just work with rosemary essential oil, and I just put a couple of drops into my water. And it not only makes everything smell good, but sometimes mediums, when you soak your brushes in water, sometimes that medium will start to smell like a gel will actually start to smell if you leave that water there for a day or two. But I love the fragrance of it. Okay, so we're working with water. And if you don't have a spray bottle, don't worry. If you have regular water, you can always have a brush that you bring the water in. We're going to be working with wax. I just got a tea light candle and I took off the bottom, and when you take off the metal, then the lighter thing is gone. We're going to be working with that. I have a white crayon, waterproof crayon, and I have a black Caran d'Ache, which is water soluble. I have a black Stabilo pencil. I'm bringing in just a fine line applicator that has ink in it, just regular Indian ink, I think is what it's called, or archive ink in it. And I'm going to be working with a flat brush like this mostly. This is just a craft brush, a 2-inch craft brush, and then I have a smaller brush. The unique item that at this phase I'm going to work with is called, it's called Van Dyke crystals, and it's made from walnut shells. And I'm just bringing it in as a fun item to work with. I have put it into a Tupperware, a little Tupperware mixed with some water. Okay, and it's a beautiful brownish color instead of the dark ink. But I don't know if you remember this. When we were in the art studio, I had gotten this walnut stuff and was planning to work with it and never got the chance to. So finally, what, 2-3 years later, I'm going to be working with this medium. So this is the first time I'm working with it. I'm very, very excited with it. I don't know how well it will work. But so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start, and I'm going to take that wax. And if you've never worked with wax, it's really fun to do. But I'm going to hold it with my eyes closed, okay? And with my eyes closed, and all I'm going to do is press it into the paper, and I'm going to mark the paper with it. So I'm adding a little bit of pressure, and I'm trying to get all areas, and I'm not trying to make any designs. I'm just allowing my hand to move. So this is called intuitive mark making. We're just being intuitive about it because we're creating marks on our paper. This kind of marking that we're doing also is stuff that we would do this works really well in abstract or of course mixed media. So I've got this wax. I'm just picking up a couple of my little smudgy pieces. I don't know what else to call them. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start a second sheet. And with this one, I'm going to use my eyes. I'm going to have my eyes open, but I'm going to work with my left hand. And I'm going to make more energetic style lines. So that means sharp lines. So I'm looking and I'm watching it. So I'm going to do 3 different examples here. So I got that one done. And the third one I'm going to do, I'm going to just keep my eyes open, and I'm going to have it in my right hand. So you can see I'm bouncing back and forth between dominant and non-dominant hands, right? Eyes open, eyes closed. But this last one, I'm going to have my eyes open, and I'm going to go slow. I'm going to be very mindful now. I'm going to be aware that I am making marks now, and maybe even doing some very intentional designs like spirals and circles and just some things here and there. And you can see the pressure that I'm putting on my wax even broke it because it gets warm from your hand, but that's okay. All right, so that's the third piece. So I'm going to work with the walnut shell. Now you can work with ink, and if you were to work with ink, just take a little container and take a stopper of ink. This is just Liquid Text Archive ink. And just take a stopper of the ink and put it in there. So we're not worrying about working with too much. And then you're just going to spray some water in there. You just want it to be a little, you see that, a little runny. We don't want to work with a lot. I'm going to set that off to the side because we will work with archive ink. Okay. So at this point, all I'm going to do is take my big fat brush. Oh, and you know another thing you can do? Tea. You could do tea. You could do this with tea. You could do it with coffee. But I'm just going to run this over my page and look at the design that appears. Do you see that? How cool?
Are we starting with the third one we did?
Yeah, I'm just using the one that's right here on my page. You can use it. We're going to be doing this sort of to every single page, but we're going to be adding things to it. So think of this as a first layer. This is a first layer. All we're revealing is that wax design that we've created. And look at how cool it looks. It really, I mean, as a layer, that's pretty cool, isn't it? I bet yours is looking cool too.
It's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing what we get with that. And you can't see the design that you're doing, so that makes it really valuable because it's the intuitive process. Okay, so all I've done is I have revealed what's on the page. So I'm going to remove this and try not to spill any little puddles. And I'm going to put it over here. I have a canvas spread and I'm going to take up the next one that we did. And I think this was my second one, okay? My second one. So on the second one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to reveal it. I'm going to reveal what's on, what the design is. I'm using the same walnut stuff. And there's a whole different feeling coming through because the last one, I had my eyes open. I was being very slow and mindful with drawing my design. This one I had in my left hand. I did have my eyes open, but my movement was a lot more energetic, a lot faster. I moved a lot faster with it. And the reason why I'm bringing this up to you is because when we create, we want to think about the energy we're putting into our creation. So if you want high energy, that means you want your movements to be high energy. You want your strokes and your marks to be fast and staccato-ish. You know what I mean? Is everybody following that? If you want it to be soothing and healing, you want your energy and your strokes to be slower and more curvy and almost like you're gliding on ice skates or on water, you know. So this one is my staccato, so you can see the difference. It's sharper lines, it's not as smooth, it's definitely a different feeling. All right, and I'm going to reveal the last one. Okay, I'm going to reveal the last one. So this is a whole art form all its own. Do you see how you're actually going to be making some abstract pieces here? And whether you choose to use these abstract pieces as pieces of finished art or as foundations for other mixed media, you know, as the foundation, as the first layer, you're going to have so much fun working with this. I have to tell you, I love the dark brown of this walnut shell. I'm so happy to finally be working with it and exploring it. And I think about how long it's been sitting in my studio and the fact that I never I never played with it.
Isma, I'm also thinking like, I was having blueberries this morning and the color is so intense. Like maybe make some blueberry water and do it. I don't know. Does this sound weird?
Nope, I say go for it. You try any and everything, really. It's either gonna work or it's not gonna work, but by trying it, you know. And it gives you a new medium. If it works, it gives you an entirely new medium. Okay, so here's my first one with my eyes closed. Here's the second one with eyes open, moving really fast. And here's the third one, eyes open in my right hand, moving really slow and mindful. So you can see each of these three are quite different. I would say this first one and my second one are similar, are very similar. They're more, I went faster. Okay, so I feel drawn to work to do the next layer right here. This is my third one. This is my slow, mindful one. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in a white crayon. This is just a white crayon. And what I want to do is I'm just going to, even though this is so nice and vivid, I am going to go over these lines again with the white crayon. And not all of them, just some of them. And then I'm going to add some layers and add some designs in the spaces that I missed, which is really not that many. Okay, so all I did was just add with white crayon, okay, to bring out some of the shapes. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of the black crayon, and I'm going to do sort of the same thing. I'm going to go into areas to add the black crayon. And I'm not being methodical. I'm not trying to design anything. I'm just going where my hand moves because I want it to just be an intuitive process. Almost like the whole theme of our play date, just adding another layer, just adding it. And I'm not going to add a lot, just here and there. And I think at this point, I'm going to move to the next one. And this was my second one. And on this one, I'm going to take some Stabilo pencil. Now, Stabilo pencil, all right, is water soluble. And all I'm going to do is add some marks. And as I add it into, oh, and I just broke I was applying too much pressure. As I add it into the different patches of wetness with the water still there, it's probably going to start smearing, and we will smear it. I'm just going to add some scribbles here and there. You can see the scribbles I'm adding. And then I'm going to take a little brush. I'm going to add some clean water to it, and I just want to see what happens as I spread some of this Stabilo. I want to see what I like and what I don't like. what I want to work with again and what I'm going to let go of. But you can see how if I take it and I go over where the white wax is, it does tint it just a little bit. You probably can't see it as much as I can right here, but it does start to tint it a little bit because that's what Stabilo does. So I have this fine line applicator, and I'm going to work with that just a little bit. I'm going to add a layer of that. And I'm going to scribble with it. I'm not going to try and write anything. I'm just going to add it. It's bringing in a whole, this is what I call magic time because it's starting to really bring in some depth. And I really, really, really like how this one is looking. And I'm going to add just a little spray of water to let some of these go into blotches. Because to me, now we're starting to see some cool things happen. And remember, this is more abstract-y. What we're doing here is more abstract. And I'm wondering what will happen if I take my cloth here and dab a little bit. So I'm just being intuitive. I'm not really, that process. What we're doing is just, I wonder what would happen if, so let yourself play with it. I wonder what would happen if, and just play a little bit to see what's coming out on the page with the mediums that you're working with right now. I really like how this one turned out with the big black splotches. And I'm going to take the last one and I'm just going to play a minute. I'm going to add some more white crayon. And then I'm going to add just another layer of the Van Dyke and see what happens. Gosh, I really like this. So this is just working with wax and crayons, white and black, and the Van Dyke crystal or the archive ink or tea or coffee, and just seeing what kind of design you can make. So I'm pretty pleased with this, and I haven't done this before, so I did wait when I knew I wanted to work with these mediums and try them out, I waited to do them until we were in a play date so I could share them with you and to see what kind of results came out. And I think the one I truly like the best is this one with the big black splotches. I like how that looks. So um, I think what I'll do also is at a future, maybe next month or something when I have the next play date, I might take these as the foundation and add and continue to add to them and build something off of them. I don't know what I would add to them yet. I'm just saying I have to think about it, but that's the fun of having play dates. So while you continue to play there, I'm going to switch gears because I'm going to go, the next little demo is going to be just ink mark making. But let me get things moved around just a tiny bit. I wanted to get that Van Dyke off my workstation because oh my gosh, I really made a lot of it. Okay, so I'm gonna take. So the tools or the mediums that I'm going to work with here, okay, is I'm bringing in um, just the archival ink that I mix some water with, and I'm going to work with that flat brush. And work with that flat brush. And I'm going to bring in some gel. So I have liquid text. I think matte. Yeah, it's matte gel. I had to buy a new jar that I went through the last. And then I'm going to work with a flat brush and just a flat brush on how to take these mediums and make different markings with them. So I'm going to bring in a blue soft pastel to work with. I have a black oil pastel here. Another Stabilo pencil. I have a couple of regular pencils, just basic what is it, HB or H2 pencils and a mechanical pencil. This is just a graphite pencil. And then I've brought in a graphite bar. And then I'm going to work with this, it's just like a skewer, but it's used mostly in ceramic. And I'm just going to bring that in. If you have a toothpick, you can use a toothpick. If you have a skewer that you put vegetables on to roast, you could work with that. So, and then let's see, I'll bring in these. These are graphites. These are really, if you've not worked with graphites and stuff like that, you're gonna find they're pretty darn cool. But we'll work with those too. So these are the tools I'm gonna bring in for this next one, okay? And I think this rag, I'll use this rag. And we're looking at making marks. We're just looking at making marks. Okay? Does everybody feel ready for me to do this little demonstration?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm using the flat brush. So I just want to see how it works, like making different marks, right? And you can see how, it starts off pretty firm, and then when you do the lines, it starts to lighten up, which I think that's really, really important. And then you can make all kinds of marks. Just seeing how this medium works when you use it. Because we forget to test our mediums and to explore them. And when we really take time to do stuff like this, we begin to just see what they are possible. I'm going to take my handle of my brush. this I'm playing. I'm totally played, but I'm having fun using this and doing this. So I'm going to also take because we're doing marks, right? So I'm going to use this skewer and I'm just going to make marks into it because here's the thing. When you want to change the energy in a painting, the easiest thing to do is to change your tool, the size of the tool, or to change the way that you are using the tool initially. So you don't need all this stuff. You just need to know how your tool works, how the tool works in the medium. And when we do that, we can also remember that adding is not the only way. Taking away also changes the energy. So all I'm doing is scratching into, and I don't know if it's showing up very well. You might not be able to see it as well, but it's beginning to take away. And then also using a cloth begins to take away and add a new, you see how it smudges and it adds a whole new dimension. So we want to remember to do that kind of stuff too. Okay, so I'm going to add in a graphite like this. And I'm going to add a little water over here. Because see how fun it makes it? It spreads. And now bringing this in. That begins to really work it too. I'm going to bring in a pencil and just duplicate. Just go over those circles. I love when you bring in just regular pencils. I bring in some of this blue. Now, this gel, I'm going to just work with my fingers. See, it completely changes it a little bit. But when you use gel on top of water soluble, of course, it sets it so that when you do another layer, it's not going to take that away. This is the messy clay. Bring my camera up again. Okay. So when we start to add the dry supplies with the water soluble, then it starts to really move into the mixed media aspect of it. And as a first layer, even in a mixed media painting, even in just a normal painting, when you start with something like this, you're adding texture to it. Doesn't matter that all of this might get covered up or even majority of it gets covered up. What will peek through is going to add that texture to your painting. It's going to add that texture to your finished product. And I think it makes it more interesting to look at. You know, I think artists, when an artist views another artist's work, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for the hidden in the painting, because everybody knows to take a paintbrush and just do the painting. But it's the artist that's going to go in and have the different layers of hidden things that peek through. And you're like, oh, what's that medium that they use there? I love how that looks, you know. And the more you explore and experiment and work with this kind of stuff, the more you get into it, the more you begin to see. So having play dates like this on your own, where you decide to just pull out, you know, 2 or 3 of the mediums that you have sitting around that you just had to buy. You just had to buy those. You just had to have those, but you've never worked with because you don't know how to work with. Oh my gosh, can I put you full view? Are you okay with me putting you full view so we can really see your work, because that's pretty darn cool. Okay, hold on. Let me remove mine. Okay, go ahead. Oh yeah, see, look at that. That's gorgeous.
It's
I love
beautiful.
it.
Isn't
I
it? Don't you love it?
Yeah, I do. It's very interesting, very intriguing, and like the texture and the shapes, everything just looks fabulous.
And that's abstract. That's an abstract piece.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
really honestly is.
yeah. I want to do it on a canvas now, like
Oh, yes.
canvas. I know you did. Yeah, let's see.
Oh, wait,
Can you
let me bring you up. Let me bring you up.
can't see the details?
Okay, bring it up.
Wow, beautiful. It looks like a
Oh,
Japanese, like a Zen kind of, you
uh,
know,
yes.
very Zen kind. Looks beautiful.
How cool is this,
I know.
right?
So yeah,
Thank you. So
beautiful.
fun. You just do wherever your heart or your hands take you with the different, mediums, and it's so much fun to do. And
You
it's
know,
Yeah,
just
yeah. Unexpected results. Totally
comes
unexpected.
out, and then
it,
you're like,
it's intuitive. It's an intuitive process. And when we start doing it more and more and more, and we get out of our own way, right? When we get out of our way,
Yeah.
we get and we just allow the expression to move us and just pick and pull and work with a tool or a medium that we've put out on the table because we've already done the methodical work. We've already pulled out mediums and we've already pulled out tools and we put it on our workspace. Whether we use all of them or not isn't important. We've said to ourselves, here's what I'm creating with. Here's what I'm going to use to create with. Now I'm going to create. And you just flow with it, you become intuitive and just flow with it. I think that's when we really create amazing art. I mean, there are times for us to be real intentional and specific with what we're painting, right?
Yeah.
But we don't free ourselves up enough. We don't free ourselves up enough. So yeah, it's looking beautiful. It's looking pretty beautiful. What we're going to play with next, we're doing the same kind of thing. This is all about intuitive mark making, but we're going to play with some household tools. These are just basic household tools that you have around you. We're going to still work with the archival ink or um, the walnut. We're going to work with the same mediums that we have around us, but our tools are going to be household items.
Right.
Okay, so what do I mean? Let me just move a couple of things. I'm gonna keep these graphite on my workstation because I want to work with this. I'm bringing back the workstation.
I have the charcoal sticks, so
Oh
that's
yeah,
what I
keep
use.
that out. Keep that out.
That's
Uh-huh.
what I use. Yeah, this one too.
Okay, so keep the. I'll show you what I'm gonna work with. I'm keeping my graphites out. Okay, I want to work with those some more. And I'm going to keep this skewer out. I'm going to put all of these away. I'm not going to work with those. Um, I'm bringing in items like this. So I'm going to bring in a brayer. I've got water soluble watercolor ink and I've got my acrylic ink. So I'm going to move between those.
Isma, can you please make the screen bigger?
Um, I, uh, I thought I pinned it. Did I not pin it?
I
Go
can see
to
here.
Go to speaker view. Do you know on your view up in the up top right? In the top right where it says view, click on that and go to speaker view.
I'm on that. I can see you. Anu.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I can
okay.
see Isma, but I cannot see her table. Okay, let me pin her table.
Pin my table, only my table.
I got it. I got it.
Okay, you
Yeah.
got it. Okay, sorry. I thought I had maybe I only pinned it. Maybe I needed to spotlight it.
No, it's fine. I can see. Thank you.
There you are. Oh, there we go. There we go. Now it's spotlit for everybody. Okay, so here are the items. I've got leaves. Okay. I've got a block with rubber bands twisted around it, bubble wraps, archival ink pad. I have just a piece of magazine paper I ripped out, a twig. This is from a bag of tangerines. This is the bag, part of the bag. This is coriander seed. This is from a little pine tree. I just picked up some of these off the ground. I'm gonna have this brush out. A fork, a sponge, credit card, just a little lid from I don't know, something, a cork. I have a tiny leaf in there. So I'm just working with items that are, the only tool really is this brush that I'll bring in. And, oh, and a piece of paper. It's just a slip of watercolor paper, and all I did was kind of roll it up. These are the tools that we're going to work with. And I am going to use this container for my ink. And I'm going to work with archival ink. So all I'm going to do is pour some of that in here. I'm going to add some water. Get my paper. I got to move this stuff because I got to get my paper out. I'm excited to start with the magazine. I have to tell you that. All I'm going to do with this magazine is I'm going to crinkle it up. All right. I'm going to crinkle it up. And I'm just going to put it in my ink and get it wet. Oh, I actually love this. Wow, this is a really cool texture. I need more ink. Yeah. You know what? You can use something like this to put bushes, tree leaves, clouds in the sky, maybe even. I don't know. This is pretty cool. And this gets wet. It gets soggy. So when it gets soggy, I just did that. I'm gonna actually throw that away. But we get so much stuff in the mail, you know. So we're gonna just have fun making a mess again, okay? And just taking the different tools, the different household things, and seeing what we can make with it, all right? So I'm using the tangerine. I'm having a feeling it's gonna be almost the same as it is. It's almost the same as the magazine page. I'm not putting enough. This is kind of cool. This is just a rolled up piece of hard paper and that almost makes a flower pattern if you did it, for like hydrangeas. All right, I'm going to show you this rubber stamp where I just took a block and I put a bunch of rubber bands crisscrossing over each other. So I got a big archival pad here. And this makes really cool texture markings. And it didn't cost me anything. See that? They're just these fun little, I love stuff like this. This is what I love. Now this one I've used a lot. And you can use it in different colors. We're doing everything black and white and gray kind of with a little bit of the blue color and whatever else you want to pull in. But it's just so that you really see the markings rather than get lost in all the color. All right, I want to try this leaf. And I think I'm going to have to paint it. Paint the leaf. Oh yeah, see it gives a leaf. Oh yeah, that's very cool. Oh yeah, I like the leaf. The leaf is definitely good. Here's this leaf pod. Now on these graphite marks, you can, you have to apply pressure to really get them, but I'm going to let you in on something. One of the ways to work with them that you don't think about, right? See, there's just the plain, but you dip them just in water. And when you dip them in water, they're a whole different consistency. Look at how rich they become. Where's my fork? I'm going to do these seed pods now. No, they don't work. They don't work the way I had hoped they would. They're too fragile. So, okay, well, I know not to try those again. Okay, here's a stem. Oh yeah, stem you can write with. Look at that. It's like writing with something. Oh my gosh, that actually makes very cool. I think I like the stem. I'm really curious about these pine fronds. Let's try those. No, look at that. Maybe I don't have enough. Nope, they don't do anything either. Credit card, of course, makes lines. The cork makes good circles. That's a sponge. A sponge really blends. Gosh, it's, aren't you losing yourself to just playing, right? I mean, it's just like, oh, I want to try this. I want to try that. I want to try this. That's when you know it's good. Well, I think we could all just keep on playing, but here we are at the end of our time together. And I would love to see what you've created. Let me bring us all back into gallery view. Oh, yeah, very fun.
I can see. Yeah, nice, beautiful.
It just has so many textures and layers to it. Like it looks like probably just like a blob, but when I see it closely, I can just see through, like, like it's dense and then it has a layer under and it peeks out. It's just all beautiful. It's
Yeah.
fun to do this.
Yeah,
And I don't think my hands have ever gotten this dirty.
me neither. Here is the.
Oh, I love
Okay, so,
it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, look at all your textures, all your layers.
yeah, all
So, so this would be fun to take your white crayon over and kind of like sketch, go over the lines, the designs that you see, and
right.
then do a layer of like
Different.
tea or coffee or the acrylic ink.
Yeah,
It'll blend and take some of it away and it'll pop all those designs out, and that's
yeah,
kind of cool too. So definitely continue to experiment, but um, play playing to see what feels good is what this is all about, what speaks to you, what you just want to do again. It's like, oh, I want to play with that again, because we forget that sometimes working in our studio doesn't always have to be about producing a piece of art. Sometimes it is this exploration, it is this play. It's to see, really, really to see what works for us, what doesn't work for us, what feels good to us to hold in our hands and to move around. And like what, I experienced, okay, that doesn't work, so I'll never do that again. Or, this, I love this. I'm definitely going to bring this in to something in my artistry. But having play sessions like this help you to stay curious, curious about what you can do, what's possible with what's already there in your art studio. We don't always have to go out and buy new things. Let's explore and have fun with what we already have. And it's just getting messy.
Yes.
yeah,
Getting messy is fine. You just wash your hands after you're done. So don't be afraid, really, right? You've just had a lot of fun. You've just gotten messy. You've just explored. You've just played. You've shown yourself there's really nothing to be afraid of, just experimenting with different mediums and different tools to see what works. And what you're doing is you're understanding the flow of what you have to work with, and you're getting rid of what doesn't work, and you're going yeah on what does work, and then you're going to bring that into your art form. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had
thank you,
fun.
thank you, thank you
So
so
much.
much.
It was so much.
It was awesome.
Thank you so much. And I would love to have more play dates with you. And even like Deepti was telling me about, and you also spoke about the classes, paid classes. If I have time, I would definitely attend, because this is amazingly a lot of.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy. And it's so wonderful to meet you, Anu, and Tiffany. It's so great to see you again. We've had lots of fun together. So,
Yeah, yeah.
all right, beautiful ladies. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your weekend and have
Thank
fun
you, you
playing.
too, and thanks again.
Bye.
Bye for now.
Bye.